you can ask him to do anything else, but the thing that he's good at the most is in singing and praising and worshiping God. Once he sings, you can't keep him down. And that's the same thing with every single one. There is something in you and in me that God has placed in us, that as we focus and as we direct our full intensity and our passions, it will cause us to make a momentum that will propel us to our future. Next, please. Focus isn't about less, but about more. It is the ability to interconnect all you are and all you do around a central life theme. What is it that God has called you to do? Sometimes there are people who don't even need to think. It's like Martin. When it comes to business, it's automatic for him. When it comes to business, he knows what to do. Tita Faye, when it comes to accounting, she knows what to do. With other people, computers. With other people, with Jenny, it's about dental stuff. You just know what to do. For Eleanor, it's about nursing stuff. For each and every one of us, there's something in us that God has called you and me to do and to be, so that that passion and that intensity will be full blast. And God desires that that light will so shine, not because His desire is for Himself, but His desire is that that light will so shine so that He would use that light to elevate you and me to a position far better than what we had yesterday and today and tomorrow. Next, please. The measure or sum total of all of this is intensity. Ask your seatmate, do you have intensity in your life?
Yeah.
Do people feel it? Are people changed by it? Is there an impact when you fulfill that which you're called to do? Next, please. The fulfillment of all this is destiny. Now, what is destiny? It's not something that is waiting for us. Destiny is something that God has placed within us. When God was in the book of Jeremiah chapter 1, the Lord wrote, He said, before I have even known you, before you were even formed in your womb, he spoke to Jeremiah, He said, I have known you. To Cyrus, who was not even a believer, He said, there will be one day a king that will be named Cyrus. And He said He will be using this King Cyrus, to what? To do that which He has called Cyrus to do. For each and every person, God has created a spiritual DNA. And that DNA is waiting for you and for me to come out of where it is. The book of Romans chapter 8 says that the whole of creation is waiting for the revealing of the sons of God. What does that mean? Revealing means it's already there. All you need to do is take off the cover. Speak to your seatmate and say, take off the cover. God desires to reveal the light that is in you. God desires to reveal His creation, His obra maestra. His obra maestra. That means His created. It's a word that you use for art. His masterpiece. Thank you very much. Masterpiece. Look at your seat and say, you are a beautiful masterpiece. Okay, next. Without a sense of destiny, our intensity has no meaning. You may be intense. Have you met people like that? They're so intense.
Yeah.
But when there's no destiny, when they don't know what God has created them to do and to be, it doesn't matter. You're just intense. That's it. Intense about what? Has no meaning. Loses its meaning. Next, please. Then there was a story. It says, one of the synagogue officials named Jairus came up, and on seeing him, fell at his feet and implored him earnestly, saying, my little daughter is at the point of death. Please come and lay your hand on her, so that she will get well and live. And he went off with him. A large crowd was following him and pressing in on him. A woman who had a hemorrhage for 12 years and had endured much at the hands of many physicians, and had spent all that she had as was helped, and was not helped at all, but rather had grown worse. After hearing about Jesus, she came up in the crowd behind him and touched his cloak. For so she thought, if I just touch his garments, I will get well. Immediately the flow of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her affliction. Immediately, Jesus, perceiving himself, the power proceeding from him had gone forth, turned around to the crowd and said, "Who touched my garments?" And the disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing in on you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see the woman who had done this. But the woman, fearing and trembling, aware of what had happened to her, came and fell down before him, and he told him the whole truth. So there was one guy, his name was Jairus. Jairus was an official during those times, and he said, "Jesus, my daughter is dying." And after he said that, this woman, Jesus wanted to go over to the house of Jairus so that he could pray and lay hands on this young 12-year-old girl. So while he was going, the people were pressing on to Jesus. I don't know if you read the top part of the story, but it says that the whole city of Jerusalem, all the people there heard, and the news spread out, and they said, if you were sick, and if you just touched the hem of Jesus' garment, you would be made well. So as Jesus was walking, imagine, please stand up, Richard, come over here. Come over here, hurry up. Okay, face that way, and pretend that you're walking. Okay, walk. Imagine he's walking and people are pulling his clothes and pulling everything like that. And there was a crowd pulling on Jesus' clothes. But remember, during those times, they were not wearing pants. Levi's has not been invented yet. They were wearing robes. And the robes were tied, which means people were pulling on him, and it's almost like crazy. And remember how ugly their underwear was. Fruit of the Loom was not even opened yet. Jeans was not even invented yet. Imagine how ugly that would have looked. And people were pulling on the clothes of Jesus. And then he was saying, "Who touched me?" Because there was one woman who went there and touched the hem of Jesus' garment, and she was made whole. It says that she was healed. But what was different? What was happening in the mind of the people? The apostles were thinking, "What, Jesus? You're asking who touched you?" Maybe they were thinking, "Man, this guy Jesus, he's becoming high maintenance. We go through this whole thing, and now he wants us to protect him. Now we're like his, what do you call that? His bodyguards and his what? His, what do you call that? His, entourage, thank you. Like, he's like, keeping everyone, it's like he's thinking everyone should not touch me." That's what the apostles thought. But that's not what Jesus taught. Because he stopped. And even though in his mind he said, "I have to lay hands on this 12-year-old girl who was dying," he was thinking, "No, I will stop because there's someone here who caused me to stop." There was this woman, and he said, "I know that someone touched me because power came out from me." This woman knew that there was something in her. There was a destiny inside of her. She knew that there was a passion. She said, "I am not going to allow that the dream that God has given me would die." She said, "I spent all that I had on doctors. Everything I had, all my property, all my riches is gone. But still, nothing has happened. But I will not say die." He said, "I will make sure that I will touch the hem of Jesus' garment." Sometimes you feel like you're at the end, that you have been bleeding out of your finances, bleeding out of your problems, bleeding out of your emotions. You think like nothing is happening in your life. But God is saying, "Hey, if you just touch my garment, you can be made whole again." And this woman came and she pulled. She didn't care about the people, because some of those people might have been kicking her.